700,000 Tennesseans going to lose a little bit here starting Saturday. 40% of our food we throw away. What is wrong with us?
40%, man.
How fat will we be if we didn't throw that away?
Yeah.
That is a lot of food to throw away. That is like a massive amount of food to throw away. And we got a lot of your neighbors out there. A lot of people out there going to be hurting.
Man, I remember, back whenever I was 19, I had a fast food job at a Hardee's. And I can't tell you how many hamburgers or sandwiches that would just sit there that we'd just end up throwing away.
And if you ate them, they made you buy them, right?
Well, you could sneak them. You could sneak them away. You could make your own, and I did.
It is amazing, though, how the regulations that they put on fast food, with how long you can keep a sandwich out and, when it's considered past time. I mean, that's part of why there's so much waste.
Yeah, and I know there's also states that have passed laws where if you're a bakery or if you've done some of this stuff, you've got to donate the food. You just can't throw it away anymore because we were throwing away so much food. And there are people out there that can use it. And remember, that stuff's, it's about freshness. It's not about whether or not you could still consume it, right? If you're from the 80s, many of you listening, your grandmother who grew up in the Depression, cut around the mold. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I think Kroger and Publix are heavy donators to Second Harvest Food Bank here in town. If something's getting close to its expiration date, and they don't think they're going to sell it, it goes to them.
Yeah, and here's the thing with the internet. Like I'm watching stuff last night, flipping around, just I had to do a call with somebody, and I'm going through and just laughing at goofy stuff, and we'll talk about my little Scientology thing a little bit later, which is hilarious.
Space Mormons.
Don't be mad, Mormons. We're joking. Everybody settle down. But there was a lady on there, and lady, she's 30, right? And she's upset about SNAP. She's trying to do everything. She's like, I got a job, I got to pay rent, I got to barely afford gas in my car. I'm struggling big time. My kids got special needs. This stuff's all being taken away. It's a panic. It's a worry. And everybody thinks that. The left wants you to make you think that everybody's like that, and the right wants you to make you think that everybody's the welfare queen, right? And the reality is most people are just struggling. They got jobs, just trying to make ends meet, and it's getting more and more expensive to live. And having a check go away or having these benefits go away, you realize that, whoa, the struggle is going to be for a lot of people. Get up, and I know, settled, we're sorry about that. God, the minute you say Mormons, Space Mormons, they come out after you. But the
Space Mormon does not mean Mormon. It means something else.
Yeah.
So when you hear space in front of Mormon, we're not talking about Mormons.
Not talking about the same thing. Okay? So just, we call them space Buddhists, but it doesn't have the same ring. It's just, man, it's going to be tough for a lot of people out there. And I don't think people realize when they look at the federal dollars that come back to some states and other states that what they put into things. And this is going to be an interesting thing to see how what they do, because I know that Blackburn is interested in trying to figure something out. She's also running for governor. So 700,000 people, they could be voters. It's important in this situation. But it's also important that people get fed. And, this is all, by the way, this is all self-inflicted by our government. They're fighting over ridiculous stuff rather than just stand up and go, let's get something done and go from there. But, yeah, what about health care? Yeah, figure something out. By the way, Republicans, you guys have bitched about it for years. Obamacare's awful, horrible. It's the worst thing ever. It only survives because this. Yeah, people realize that. But you never offered a solution. Government is like a dog. I said it yesterday. Dog, you ever watch a dog walk and gets around a pole? It gets stuck. Dogs don't go backwards. They don't know what to do. They just kind of sit there and look at you. Well, what do we do now? You got to walk them around. Government's in it. They're not backing themselves out of this. They're entangled in it. And the money. Go look at the money that the lobbyists. There probably isn't a bigger group that lobbies outside of the healthcare industry.
And that's one of the reasons the Democrats are digging their heels in. Is
And the
because
Republicans.
The insurance lobby is going, we want our gravy train,
Hell
get
yeah.
it fixed.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of money that they throw at this, and I think we'd all be surprised how much money is thrown at all sides, because this is, to them, it's revenue positive. So them giving money, they don't care, right? Like so many of these Wall Street companies, they don't care who president is. They just want the president and the government to stay out of their way unless it's beneficial to them.
Yeah, unless you got a subsidy for me, go away.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of money pouring in. And so you've got Ken brought it up yesterday. It was, I forgot which union it is that's urging the Democrats to get back in there. Get back in there. Go. They're not, though, because the one thing that we've talked about over and over again, until somebody absolutely is 100% to blame, where they can go, all the polls say it's your fault, they're not going to move. They don't feel they have to. But I think that changes next week. Once people realize we didn't get paid and we don't have any of our SNAP benefits or whatever else is out there, then I think it changes. But not until then. And what is it, next Wednesday, right? We tie the record a week from today, which is 35 days. And the next Wednesday would be the new record. The new record. What? Yeah. Earlier today, we attacked another boat. How about those apples?
Once again, it's in the Eastern Pacific. This is now the third time that we've seen strikes in the Eastern Pacific. The bulk of these strikes have been occurring in the Caribbean around Venezuela. But we learned that 14 individuals were killed in the 3 separate strikes that targeted 4 ships. There were 2 vessels that were side by side. That was the first strike, then followed by 2 other strikes on speeding boats.
Yeah, that's... So 14 we killed? I mean, apparently we're going to eliminate people one by one.
Yeah, they saw one boat that looked like it had drugs in the shape of a giant tuna fish.
But Chad, there's all that cocaine. Okay. Bell and I were curious today about what kind of fish do they have out there? Could it be a fisherman? Do they fish? So what do they fish for, Bell?
2 types of marlin, and they sell fish is what their deep sea fishing tourism industry is based on.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So if you're thinking to yourself, what if we killed a fisherman? Is it possible? I'm assuming it's possible.
Well, and like somebody said the other day, a lot of those fishing boats will have 4 or 5 engines on them.
Yeah. And it's like, here's the thing, guys. Do you think that everybody we've blown up has been like solid? We returned 2 of them back to their country. We don't do that if they're really like ISIS. So we're going after Maduro. It's going to happen. Everybody needs to know that. It's not if, but when. The one thing that I think is slowing it down right now is the size of that giant storm. Melissa. Is that her name, Melissa? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Mel. We call her Mel for short. She is not very nice. But Mel is, I mean, we're talking 180 mile an hour winds into Jamaica. And did they say it might get to Cuba tomorrow? What's left in Cuba?
Yep. Well, the path is that it'll cross over Cuba around 7 a.m.
Cuba. So it gets to Cuba about 7 a.m., and then luckily it's Cuba. There's nothing in there. Everybody's hungry. They're like, finally, wash this off of us. Get rid of these people. Which would be, I would say this, as much as I am not about going into Venezuela. I think if we went into Venezuela, I don't know how much longer Cuba's going to be able to hold on.
Highest recorded wind speeds in Katrina were 175.
So these are faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Katrina. And as our good friend Ken brought up earlier, the Weather Wizard, the surge is the thing that's going to get you. And that's 10 to 14, 15 feet in some areas.
Yeah, just think about a 15-foot wall of water coming right at you.
My God, that's just terrifying.
Tons of water.
And it's just nonstop. It just is. It's going to be, and they have nowhere, there's not a lot of places they're going to go in Jamaica. The one thing that is, and we were talking about it earlier, the one thing that is kind of a bizarre blessing in this situation in disguise is before we go into Venezuela, maybe, we have a lot of warships there. And when stuff like this happens in other places, it is the military that's usually the first on scene. So that is kind of this interesting thing, although we just docked one of our warships right there in Trinidad. And we docked it right there. Hello? Because Trinidad, the bottom of Trinidad is within 5 kilometers or so. It's 6 kilometers of Venezuela. So the party may get started, not fast, though, because we may have to turn around and go help what's going on in Jamaica, because it is going to be ugly. And God willing, there isn't any more deaths, but I find it hard. There's already 7 deaths. Is that what you said earlier? 7 deaths?
Yeah, and the fact that it's only 7 is pretty surprising, and I hope it bodes well for the future.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, there's the one thing about seeing, you get to see what's coming. That's the one thing about the hurricane, especially this one. She is a biggin', all right? She got a dump truck for her butt. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's the one thing that is a blessing. You know, tornadoes, you understand the weather, but it's still not there. And earthquakes, we always joke about there's earthquake weather. There's no earthquake weather. So you know, this is something you at least got to see. But just because you see it doesn't mean you can go anywhere. So many of these places, they're economically depressed. It's not like the infrastructure is amazing. And then when the rain comes, that's also the other stuff that happens. You start to see issues when that, as Ken was talking about, that giant wave of water that comes in, then it gets into the sewer. Then the nightmare becomes when you get all of the diseases and whatnot. So we'll be watching that. A lot of stuff still to get to. It's Hot Take Tuesday. We got your hot takes for you. Bell had a good one about Star Wars. Ken had one about Penny. I had one about a lady. We're going to talk about all of those things. We want to get your hot takes as well. Reach out to us via text. Bell, how do they do it?
615-737-9986.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Oh, getting spicy over there again. We're getting spicy here. Hot take, hot take, hot take Tuesday. Always the hot take on a Tuesday. So our hot takes. I'll start it. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. And this is no slight to Helen Keller. I think a vast majority of her legacy is baloney. Right? I'm not saying she could see and hear.
It's a little slight, Dylan.
I'm just saying I think it was more Ann Sullivan, and she used her because there's no way she came up with all that crap. You know what else was weird about her, though, that was interesting? She was obsessed with Akitas, the dogs. She actually went to Japan, and then she had an Akita, and she was obsessed with the dog, the Akita. Very bizarre. See, the whole thing.
She couldn't hear him bark?
Nope. That's why she was obsessed with him. But I think she came up with this, and she did this, and she did do stuff, but I think she was more figurehead, and people pushed her out there, because how would you know what she's saying? By the way, she died in 1968, 2 years before I was born. So that's weird that she was around when cars were around, because we always think of her way back in the day that didn't exist inside of like a log cabin learning from Ann Sullivan. All right, Bell, what you got?
The Star Wars prequels were not bad movies. They suffered from a lack of drama because you know what's going to happen to Yoda. You know what's going to happen to Ben Kenobi. You know what's going to happen to the little kid on the screen. They were not bad movies, but people walked into them expecting to be 10 years old again and get the same impact they got the first time they saw a Star Wars film in 1977. And you don't get to go back to that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And like you said, there was doing the prequel after you'd done the movies, which should have been the sequels, kind of does take away a bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, it pulls out some of the drama because the first movie was what's happening. And then the second trilogy, the prequels, were how it happened.
Yeah. That's you're telling your story out of order. Well, I don't like that. All right, Ken, what you got for us?
Paying with coins at self-checkout is a bold move, like challenging a vending machine to a duel and losing in slow motion. You're a nickel bagger.
A nickel bagger.
You're holding everybody up.
A nickel bagger. I love that.
Got that from my nephew in Dallas.
A nickel bagger. There's a band called Nickelbagger, right? Is there a band called that? Oh, Nickelback.
Yeah, Nickelback.
There was a guitar player named Dimebag.
Dimebag. Different kind of
It's different context.
Bell, always to the drugs, kids. Always to the drugs. always to the drugs. There's your hot take. Let us know what your hot take is. Somebody said, Chad, are you sticking up for the drug cartels? No. Once again, I'm not sticking up for the drug cartels. If we're serious, when people say, well, they say 25,000 people are saved, there's no fentanyl on those boats. Fentanyl comes from Mexico, and those other portions of the fentanyl that matter get sent here from China and then put into drugs here and then shipped up here. That's where they come from. Go after the cartels. If you're serious about saving all of the people, then Mexico's the place where it's at. Cocaine, a vast majority of cocaine, including Colombia, which produces the most cocaine, that stuff's bound mostly for Miami, because, it's Miami. And then the other is all bound for Europe in a big way. Europe and Australia, they love their cocaine. They're still living in that, Studio 54 times. Still living back then. Absolutely. Somebody say, I'd take an Akita over an English or French bulldog any day. I love French bulldogs. I love Akitas. But if I had the choice, I'd do an English bulldog. The problem with an English bulldog is you've got to go immediately because it has sleep apnea. You gave me a dog that has sleep apnea.
Little fellas can't breathe.
They can't. They'll die in the middle of the night. But they're hilarious.
Ah, so cute.
And super obstinate, by the way. Sometimes they're like, you know what? This is as far as I'm going. If you would like to take me, then you're going to have to carry me. And they're not built to be carried. They're not. Just get a wiener dog, right, Ken?
Just get a little wiener dog.
Yeah.
Little fat weenie.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're eventually going to be fat. Because they're so hilarious.
They won't stop eating.
No, they won't.
No.
They're like my lizards, they would gorge themselves. Like I got to the point where I'd feed them once every 10 days and they would gorge themselves because they wouldn't want any food.
Yeah.
But there was times when I know that they would eat themselves to death if given the opportunity.
Yes.
I often wonder, like my cat, I feel and my cat is so picky. He hates salmon, loves tuna.
But hates salmon.
Hates salmon. We'll give him a thing of salmon because, just like the chips you buy, there's always that one in there you don't like. Right? You don't like bubblegum shrimp? No, I don't. Thank you. We give him salmon and they just sit there. Like we'll empty it out and it'll sit there for days. He won't eat it and we'll throw it away. And then we have to give it to the lady upstairs, the rest of them. Such a weird cat. Such a weird cat. Coming up, Scott Sapicki's going to join us at top of next hour. We're going to talk about the cattle world, what's going on, because I think it is important. The beef prices, beef farmers are not thrilled. Farmers in general are not thrilled by what's going on, from the soybean battle to what is happening with, if you're a cattle rancher, what's going on there. And we're going to get a talk to him about, the cattle cartel, which includes realistically the big packers.
And how the tariffs hit him as an independent.
Well, he's got a pretty decent sized one, right? I don't know what's decent anymore. I just think of Yellowstone.
Uh-huh.
But it's really, a lot of it has to do, we're going to get into this about the monopoly that some of these big giant packing companies have. And that's another thing we'll talk about.
I think Scott lives on the Ponderosa.
Oh, he does. Man, remember the Ponderosa? They'd start burning that thing and think, it's as big as California. Part of Nevada and everything. That's a big farm right there. It's a big place. It is Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 997. Da, 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 wow, 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 wow. Oh, man. Several of you arguing with me. It's over. There is fentanyl. There's no fentanyl on the boats. According to who? The State Department, Department of Homeland Security, the DEA, Interpol. We can go on. It's not even close. Just good. Here's the thing. Google it. It's not hard to go look something up. You don't have to go to the library. Remember that back in the day? And you're like, can I see the old stuff? Oh, you got to get the little Fisher thing and you got to go back there and you got to go look it up and you pull it up and you don't have to do that anymore. It's all there. It is. It's all in front of us. And Lena said, so I guess Rubio knows more. Rubio's an old school neocon. Think about where he's from. Cuba, Venezuela, all of these places throughout South Beach and all of Miami have a massive power play inside of the Trump administration. They look at the Southern Hemisphere, in particular Venezuela and these places, as places they would love to see tumble. Big time. Okay? So there's a lot of that going on there. And the oil. Don't forget the oil.
And that was a winning strategy when he was he a representative?
Yeah.
When he was a representative out of Florida, because that's what those Cubans and other South American people that have fled their countries want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a great article. I'll see if I can find it posted about the influence that so many of these power brokers have in this situation. There's a want for that. And Trump, Trump's down in Mar-a-Lago. He hears from all these people. He's neighbors with them all, right? A lot of them have fled the tyranny and the hell of these countries. But here's something. Why should I care what happens in Venezuela? Why? I mean, what is it? What is the threat to Venezuela to us? A small amount of cocaine? I don't do cocaine.
We could save the zoo animals.
I think it's too late for that, man.
Probably.
I think they've grilled cheese those things to death. I think if you went to the zoo in Caracas right now, you'd be like, all that's in here is nothing. That's right. It's an imaginary zoo. So you can imagine what kind of animals could be in here.
We tried to eat the hippo, but he killed the ones we sent in the pen.
Oh, hippos are the worst. It is the worst. It is absolutely the worst. The hippos. Don't mess with the hippos, kids. They are the worst of the worst. They will get you. Bill, I'm surprised how many people agree with your take on Star Wars.
Very logical.
It is very logical. Again, I wasn't saying it wasn't logical. It's just a very interesting thing because,
I mean, most people went into that movie, again, with the attitude of, oh, it's going to feel like I did when I was 10 years old and I'd never seen Star Wars at all. Well, no, you can't recapture that feeling.
No.
And then when you look at the process of the way the story was told, there are certain things that in the course of the movie are or are not going to happen. So it loses some of its dramatic tension that way, and it becomes a story about how things happened instead of what is going to happen.
Now, they did 3 after that, the other ones, right? They've done 9. See, here, this is how much I gave up after. I went and saw the first one because my uncle dragged me. I wouldn't see any of these movies. I went and saw the first prequel, and I never saw another one after that. The other 3, is did that finally, that supposed to end it, besides the fact that,
Well, that set was put together with no plan and no through thread in the movies, and it's basically a big cluster F, and there's talk of them possibly decanonizing those movies and doing a second set of or another set of sequels.
Yeah, because then it just became a money. Well, you know what? You spend $4 billion buying stuff.
Yeah. You got to make your money back.
You got to, yeah. I mean, have you ever watched any of the Disney Plus stuff?
I don't have Disney Plus anymore, but I did for a while. You talking about the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of it I thought was really good.
Like the Boba Fett one. Is it Boba Fett?
The Mandalorian I thought was
that's
really
the one.
good. And especially the way they reintroduced Luke Skywalker into that. But there's been some stuff where you sort of watch it and go, yeah, it's not bad. It's like a decent TV show.
Took a lot of liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Movies are an interesting thing. Like you're right, though. The other thing that bothered me about going to see those movies is the look was so much different, was also something. Compared to...
Oh, without a doubt.
It was like one was on film, the other was video, it felt.
Well, also, Star Wars, the first 3 was meant to look like a used universe, like it was being run on spare parts, unless you were a member of the Empire. But the first 3 movies were supposed to make it look like everything is great, life is grand, everything's going good for us, and there's no trash on the streets, and nothing, and we don't have to worry about drugs and all that. So it was a completely different emotional look to it too.
Yeah, it was the whole thing. Because I was never a space guy. I was never I didn't get into Buck Rogers was cool, only because Erin Gray was on it. She was kind of hot, right? And
that
then
was the only good part of that show. I really, really hoped, and I still do hope a little bit that I can meet the guy who played Twiggy, just so I can kick him over.
Beady.
Well, that seems like a mean thing to do.
Not Mel Blanc. He did the voice. I'm talking about the guy who's in the costume.
Why is that?
Because it's a horrible character.
He's just a little fella.
It's a horrible character. You can't go from Star Wars with C-3PO to this thing that looks like it's a walking toy.
It's not very nice. It was TV. They didn't have the same stuff, okay? They didn't have the money.
Crap is crap.
It is. It is crap. You know who died the other day, speaking of space? Was it June Lockhart?
Oh, yeah, she did.
She was 100. She was in
Yeah, she had good
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
Yeah. You guys remember Lost in Space? That had the robot, and then had the boy, then they had that weird doctor that always seemed to want to molest the boy.
Yeah.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Yeah, what was his
He's a
name?
registered sex offender.
He was Bill Mumy was one of the guys that, remember the song Fish Heads
Yeah.
on MTV? Bill Mumy co-wrote that.
Really?
Yeah. Fish heads.
Roly-poly fish heads. I did my scary movie countdown today. Number 4 was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The original?
Mm-hmm.
That is a twisted film.
Toby Hooper, who did the movie, he had done 2 documentaries. One about the coming home of the Vietnam vets, and it was called Eggshells and how horrible they were treated and everything. And then he got this money. It was $150,000 total. He got John Larroquette. Remember John Larroquette?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Night Court.
Yeah. So they met.
Star Trek.
And I think they smoked a little weed, if I'm remembering the story. I mean, not that you should smoke weed. That's not who we are.
But if you want to, government shouldn't tell you
No,
you can't.
yeah, that absolutely. That's not, don't listen to us. But he remembers he got John Larroquette, which I found to be rather interesting. He said they met, and then he needed somebody to voice one thing. And if you guys remember the movie, as we talk about horror movies, we're going to talk more about them later on. It was really interesting what happened. He said, hey, can you voice this one thing for me? And this is what it was.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular, Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother, Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He never saw the movie. He voiced the other parts for the things. Never once saw any of the movies.
Dude.
It's funny because once you know that's him, you can hear the definition in his voice that makes it him.
Yeah. And so when Toby Hooper shot it, it was the hottest summer in like 100 years in Texas.
Yeah.
It's 35 days. He wouldn't let anybody change their clothes. So everybody did all that. And Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface, his outfit and everything weighed 120 pounds.
Oh,
they said
man.
the stench was so bad by everybody that they had to move the food far away from people because nobody could stand the stench.
I believe it.
And they also didn't have fake chainsaw. So Gunnar was playing with a real chainsaw. Let's just say a few times he missed back in the day.
Or was it a miss?
It was a miss. He was a very nice guy.
He came up with a good dance.
He did.
Chainsaw Boogie.
And the final scene where she's at dinner, and it's just macabre.
Get him, Grandpa!
26 straight hours nonstop shot. They just went over and over again. She said she nearly broke down. When she ran, she had a black eye. She had bruises all over. She goes, I literally was running for my life when he was chasing me. It was terrifying. And then he comes out there and he spins and he does the thing with the... So great. They got royalties later on. All of them got $100 for their movie. That was it.
That was it.
It was the salary they were paid,
Mm-hmm.
but they did get royalties.
Later on, way later on. You know where he sold the movie? The
Where?
first audience to see it, Cannes Film Festival.
I wonder how it went over.
He said, scared the crap out of everybody, which was not his intent. His intent was to scare people, but it was also to make people kind of laugh because it was supposed to be a little dark humor.
Yeah, I can see that.
He goes, people got that later on, which I found to be rather interesting. But the weird thing about it, he kept calling the Motion Picture Association of America, trying to figure out how he could get a G.
A G?
Yeah, because he said there's not really any blood in it, maybe a PG. The first cut was X.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Then when you go back and he goes, look, outside of the meat hook scene, there's not a lot of blood in it. You don't really see it. It's just macabre and creepy.
It is, man.
It is. So, and he shot it on like that 8mm, which made it seem like a snuff film.
The part where the brother in the wheelchair, man, gets pissed off at everybody and starts spitting.
I've never actually seen it.
You've never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
shame!
Nell.
I can't deal with body horror.
Yeah, I'm that way too. I do not like torture.
No.
I don't like torture. And this movie,
yeah, there was a bit of it in it. Man, there was. But it's a different kind of thing because it wasn't a torture like.
Yeah, it's different, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. There's
It's bad.
It's not like Hostel.
Oh, gosh.
Where they torture on purpose because you're paying people to do horrible things to people. This was just people who were nuts.
Yeah.
So, interesting, though. I enjoyed that movie.
Leatherface chases that guy with that mallet, man.
Oh, God, yeah. And when he opens the door, Gunnar Hansen. Oh, what a great movie. All right, coming up. More good stuff to talk about. Got some of your text messages. We're going to, as soon as we hit next hour, though, it's getting serious because Scott Sabecki's going to be here. We're going to talk about the cattle industry. What's going on? Beef. Where's the beef, right? She wants to know where the beef is, that little old lady, because the beef seems to be disappearing and the cost seems to be rising. Hamburger helper, all you're getting is the helper at this point in time. There's no hamburger involved. Chad Benson, Super Talk 987.
Hurricane Melissa makes landfall in Jamaica. Day 28 of the government shutdown. Air traffic controllers missed their first paycheck since the start of the shutdown. And what it's going to mean for nearly 700,000 Tennesseans if it continues through Saturday. These stories and more at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I love scary movies. I was up early, as I am normally, and I thought, oh, cool, I'll watch some Friday the 13th. I'm like, which one should I watch? Do you remember the Friday the 13th? I think it was the fourth one where the chick had superpowers.
Vaguely.
Oh, Tina. Tina had powers.
Yes.
And she could move stuff with her mind. That's how they killed him in this one.
Yeah.
They killed him in this one because she had superpowers when her mind. Remember, Corey Feldman was in one of those.
Yeah.
He played Tommy. But I'm just like, I got to watch some of these. Everybody keeps asking me about Ed Gein. I think I have 2 episodes left on the Ed Gein show on Netflix. Ed was really crazy and he talked like this. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, the actor who plays him does a really good job because this dude in real life looks nothing like the character.
Yeah.
I mean, they have really made him up.
Yeah, just like, I love it when they do it. Like they did with, oh, God, what's her name to play Eileen Wuornos? Charlize Theron?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, she put on a whole lot of weight.
She did. Too. She put on that. I put a whole lot of, I'm playing a part, too. I don't know what it is yet, though.
And didn't she have her teeth worked on?
Yeah. So those people will do, right, for a job in acting. They'll do all kinds of stuff. They're like, "Argh." Just like we talk about with oh, God, what's his name that lost all that weight?
Christian Bale?
Yeah, and the Machinist. Oh, that was so gross. I mean, he lost... He didn't have 60 pounds to lose, and he lost 60 pounds eating an apple a day.
Well, yeah, was that for the fighter?
Yeah, no, that was for the Machinist.
I don't understand the mind that has that kind of discipline.
No. Well, I guess if it's your only job, right?
But still, I mean, if you ask me to do that for a job, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to get employed here.
Well, I think it would depend. If it was your passion.
Bingo.
So if they came to you today, Bell, and magically tomorrow you could play guitar like Eddie Van Halen and you would go on tour with whatever band, but you had to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. You would find a way if that was your passion to do it.
I could see the point a little bit.
Your passion is not. You're not an actor, so that's not your passion. So whatever your passion would be, you would find a way, if at all possible. Some things, I mean, you can't make yourself. If your passion is to play center for the Lakers and you're 5'7", no matter how much you work out and try to stretch yourself, it ain't happening.
Yeah, all the passion in the world ain't going to change
Don't rain
that.
on my parade, boys.
I won't, brother. I won't. Not going to do it. All right, coming up, Scott Sapicki's going to join the program. We're going to talk about all things cattle, but from the business standpoint, as things are going for cattle farmers who don't seem to be thrilled by what's happening. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Hour number 3 of the Chad Benson Show. Get ready for it.